In the wake of burning towers and broken lives, America vowed never to be caught off guard again. But the way it went about that promise didn't look like resilience. It looked like obsession. And in that obsession, the hunter, the jackal, turned its gaze inward. This is the story of how, in the name of safety, the United States became the ultimate predator of digital life, and how it slowly locked itself in a cage of its own making. 9/11 wasn't just a national tragedy, it was a psychological rupture. The U.S., a global jackal known for lurking overseas, toppling regimes, and pulling strings from the shadows, was suddenly exposed, vulnerable. And when the jackal gets hurt, it doesn't retreat, it evolves. Enter the Patriot Act. Passed just weeks after the attacks, it granted the government sweeping powers to surveil, detain, and investigate without traditional checks. Wiretaps, email monitoring, financial tracking, all under the flag of national security. Americans didn't question it. They were afraid, and fear makes surveillance seductive. The jackal had a new hunting ground, its own people. Behind the scenes, 3 letters were becoming God's NSA. The National Security Agency had been around since World War II, but post 9/11, it became omnipresent. Phone calls, browser history, social media footprints, all fair game. Through programs like PRISM, X-Keyscore, and Boundless Informant, the U.S. wasn't just watching terrorists. It was watching everyone. And who built the infrastructure for this? Not just government agencies, but Silicon Valley. Tech companies handed over user data, or were quietly forced to. Google, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft. They became both victims and accomplices in the biggest digital surveillance net in human history. The jackal didn't just have eyes on the ground anymore, it had eyes in your pocket. In 2013, Edward Snowden shattered the illusion. He exposed just how deep the jackal's claws had gone. Americans learned they were being watched, even if they'd done nothing wrong. And so were foreign leaders, allies, and entire populations. The U.S. wasn't just hunting threats, it was collecting everything, just in case. The reaction? Half outrage, half apathy. The jackal had trained its prey to believe surveillance was normal, that privacy was optional, that if you had nothing to hide, you had nothing to fear. But here's the twist. When you watch everyone, you also start watching yourself. The digital net kept expanding. What started as counterterrorism morphed into predictive policing, facial recognition, social media monitoring, AI-powered watch lists. And suddenly, no one was safe from the system. Not immigrants, not journalists, not protesters, not even elected officials. The US government built a machine to catch the bad guys, but over time it stopped asking who the bad guys even were. Activists were labeled threats. Whistleblowers were hunted, the press was watched. The jackal was now tracking its own reflection. And that reflection? It's you, it's me, it's all of us. Feeding data into systems we never voted for, systems we don't understand, systems that learn faster than we can fight back. What makes this era terrifying isn't just the surveillance. It's how invisible it's become. We click accept on terms of service we don't read. We let smart devices listen just in case. We use facial ID to unlock our phones. Convenience, right? But those little decisions add up. Surveillance isn't a building anymore. It's a culture. It's an expectation. It's a trade-off between freedom and ease. And it's a bargain we were never fully conscious of signing. The jackal no longer has to sneak. It lives in your feed. And the cage? It's made of comfort. What began with a terror attack turned into a war machine, which turned into a global surveillance empire, which turned into a digital prison of our own making. The US didn't lose its power. It lost its soul chasing control. And now? The jackal sits inside its own trap, watching itself, trying to predict its own next move, not realizing that the more it watches, the less it understands. Because true control doesn't come from surveillance, it comes from trust. And we gave that up a long time ago. If this shook something in you, do me a favor. Like, subscribe and share at JustAnotherMessenger with someone who thinks I've got nothing to hide is still a valid argument. And drop a comment below regarding the question, are we still the watchers or are we just watched? Until next time, stay sharp, question everything, and read the fine print.